Hey guys, it's your girl Chrissy Pips and welcome back to Mindset Monday. If you enjoy the content in my videos and you don't want to miss out on what's next, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. But if you're here, you're interested, so let's get into it. Now, in the last video, we talked about the 8 factors of persistence. We talked about the 16 symptoms of lack of persistence, and we reviewed the 4 steps that lead to the habit of persistence. I hope you all took notes. But today, we're going to dive into the next part, which is the Mastermind group and how to attain and apply power.
The revolution will be live.
Now, this is the part that I have been looking forward to. Like, I really want to share this information with you guys because this is where I really seen my journey, like, take off. You know, everything started to take shape at this point. Like, once I got into the Mastermind group, this is also where I was able to see the most rapid growth. Power is important. So let's start there. Now, power is defined as organized and intelligently directed knowledge. In today's video, we are using the word power in the context of organized effort sufficient to enable an individual to transmit desire into money. Now, if you missed the video on desire, I'll link it below. I actually linked the whole playlist for you because the preceding videos to this one are very important. They all link up right around here. But power is an organized effort and is produced through the coordination of effort of 2 or more people, which is the Mastermind group. And this is a group of people who work together toward a defined end, like a definite purpose. Now, power is required for the accumulation of money. Power is also necessary for the retention of money after you get it, right? Now, since power is organized knowledge, let's review the 3 major sources of knowledge, okay? Number 1, infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence, this is a source that can be found with the aid of the creative imagination, as we described it in the video on creation, right? Creative imagination also allows the deepest parts of your mind a direct communication with infinite intelligence. This is where your hunches and inspiration are received. Creative imagination is where all basic and new ideas are handed over to you. This is through creative imagination that you can tune in to or you can communicate with the subconscious minds of other people. It sounds weird, right? Where have you ever been having a conversation with somebody and both of you said the same thing at the same time? Or come up with the same idea at the same time? Well, thank creative imagination and your subconscious for that. Now, creative imagination works automatically. So it's not something you can like turn on and off. It functions only when your conscious mind is vibrating at an exceedingly rapid rate. For example, when the conscious mind is stimulated through emotion or through a strong desire, it creates the faculty and becomes more alert and more receptive to the vibrations of the source. Okay? Yeah, that was a long one. That was still number 1. Number 2 is accumulated experience. Accumulated experience is organized and recorded information that can be found in any well-equipped library, like any public library. An important fact about accumulated experience is that it's been taught in public schools and colleges where it's already been classified and organized to make it easy for you to sift through. Number 3, experiment and research. Experiment and research in the field of science and in practically every other walk of life is when you gather classified and organized information like facts daily. Okay, this is where we go when knowledge is not available through accumulated experience. Creative imagination must also be used often in this step when experimenting with new ideas and doing research. Knowledge may be acquired from all or any of the three sources. It may be converted into power by organizing it into definite plans and by expressing those plans and taking action. Examination of the three major sources of knowledge will definitely show you the difficulty an individual would have if he or she depended upon their own efforts alone in assembling knowledge and expressing it through definite plans in terms of action. Now, if the plans are comprehensive and if they contemplate large proportions, they must generally include others to cooperate with that one person, with this idea, before you can inject like the necessary element of power into the situation. So you need to have a really good big idea, and that really good big idea needs to have plans, needs to be organized so that you can bring it to other people to create your mastermind group. It's easier when things are structured to introduce these new ideas and to get good backers for these ideas. Okay. Now you can gain power through the mastermind. The mastermind is defined as a coordination of knowledge and effort in harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. No individual can have great power without creating themselves a mastermind group. Like some of the bigger people, especially Henry Ford, created a mastermind group. Henry Ford wasn't a very learned man. He didn't have a college education or anything like that. But what he did was surrounded himself with people who had the knowledge that he lacked so that he could go to them. They kept him on track. They also filled in any necessary gaps so that his ideas and desires could come to fruition, right? Now, in preceding chapters, there's a chapter on instructions that we were given for creating a plan and translating that plan into desire, which is how we actually eventually get it into like the monetary equivalent. So I'll link the plans video below. I'll put the whole playlist below for everybody. Now, if you carry out the instructions from the chapter with persistence and intelligence and use discrimination in selecting your mastermind group, you'll be halfway there before you even know it. And stop thinking of discrimination as a bad word in this instance. All I mean is that by being a little choosy in who you put in your mastermind group, the people you allow into this group need to be like-minded and goal-oriented. They need to have a genuine interest in seeing you succeed. If you put people into the group that do not hold these same characteristics, they're not going to be an asset to the group, just a liability. And we don't need any more liabilities at this point. Okay? Now, there are two characteristics of the mastermind principle, and we'll go ahead and review those. Now, one principle is economic, and the other one is psychic. And I don't mean the fortune-telling type of psychic, okay? And also nothing to do with religion, okay? Now, the economic principle is obvious. Economic advantages may be created by a person who surrounds themselves with advice, counsel, and personal cooperation of a group of people who are willing to lend help like wholeheartedly, right? If you're in a group of people who genuinely want to see you succeed, who you are moving in the same direction with, it's going to be phenomenal. That way you guys can actually accomplish more. Now, this form of cooperation or this form of cooperative alliance has been the basis of nearly every great fortune. Like the people who are very successful surround themselves with like-minded people so that they can bounce ideas off of each other. It's wonderful. Your understanding of this great truth may be different, and it will definitely determine your financial status. So again, I do not mean, as far as the mastermind group, being discriminatory in a negative way, but I do mean that you do have to discriminate who you're putting into this group, okay? And that it makes a big difference just economically. So That's the first one. The second one that I talked about was the psychic part of the mastermind principle is much more abstract and much more difficult to understand because it has a spiritual reference. And remember, I'm not talking about anything biblical or anything like that. But no two minds have ever come together without creating a third invisible force that can be thought of or seen as like a third mind. Okay, remember when I referenced earlier, if you've been having a conversation with somebody and you guys say the same thing at the same time, or you come up with the same idea, that's the psychic principle of the mastermind. Once you guys start having those deep conversations and you start to dive deeper into how to fix any problems that come about, how to get to the solution of it all, everybody will start thinking very similarly and coming up with a lot of great ideas that other people in that group might come up with as well. So it's very beneficial. Now let's see. Now keep in mind that there are only two elements known or in the known universe, right? It's energy and matter. Matter can be broken down into units of molecules, atoms, and electrons. There are units of matter which can be isolated, separated, and analyzed. The same goes for energy, meaning there are units of energy. The human mind is a form of energy, a part of it being spiritual in nature. When minds of two people or more coordinate and in a harmonious pattern of coordination, the spiritual units of energy of each mind form an affinity, which constitutes as a psychic phase of the mastermind. So, like I said, when you guys are on the same track, you're on the same page, you start to think alike, but you guys start to have new, bigger, better ideas to get things done. Now, the biggest trick is getting your mastermind to cooperate with one another, like moving in the same direction for the attainment of wealth, right? This is tricky because have you ever tried to get two people that you know to agree on the same thing? Have you tried to get more than two people to agree on the same thing? It is hard. It is really hard. But if you see the dilemma, right, you should be able to come up with a solution. That's why I keep saying be selective in the people that you choose for your mastermind group. Now, as we move on to the other chapters in this book, other ways of utilizing infinite knowledge and tapping into the resources for the mastermind group will be revealed. So we're definitely going to dive more into this. If you can't already tell, the mastermind is a very big part of this book. We spoke about the mastermind in 2 or 3 chapters prior to even getting to the chapter on mastermind. It's important, but when we get along to other parts of the book or other chapters of the book, when we start to break those down, we'll start to dive a little bit deeper into each part. Everything just kind of starts to build on top of one another until we get everything done. Now, I hope you've been keeping up with and doing the exercises outlined in each of these videos. Now, you should start to see a difference. You should definitely start to see a difference. There's going to be a mindset switch that gets turned on for you. Now, all of the chapters are coming together pretty well. Now, remember, purpose, faith, desire, persistence, and plan must all be put into action. So, creating the mastermind group is after you have found out what your purpose is. You have found ways to maintain your faith in your purpose. And you have found a deep desire in fulfilling your purpose. And you have put into action options, plans. You've put steps in place so that you can become persistent. And you have a plan from beginning to end. You just have to work out some of the little odds and ends in the middle, right? Now, in the comments below, let me know if you have the steps written down and written out. If so, are you taking action on those steps? Now, remember that we will revisit this whole book, and I think I'm going to do that on a live because the whole purpose of this channel is for me to track my growth and for you guys to come along with me for that ride. Now, we'll meet here again next Mindset Monday. The topic for next week is going to be a bit more taboo, but we're going to discuss it anyway. And listen, it's going to be fun. We're always going to make it fun. It's very informative and it's important. That's why we're going to do it. But at the end of the day, let's see. I want to make sure that this progress is documented because I want to track my progress. I want to see how I'm doing. And I also want to see how, after going through a lot of these things and putting a lot of things in place, how I change. And I want you guys to be able to see that as well in me and in yourself. So I'm doing this for all of us, right? Now, if you enjoyed today's content, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you Wednesday for our 101 series. And I hope you all are having an awesome and productive day. Thanks. See you later.